Oh my god, this is so hard. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Dina and this is actually the first time I'm making a YouTube video, so I'm a little bit nervous and I'm like tried to figure out how to set up my camera for the longest time, but hopefully this works, and I don't know how good my mic is, so we'll see how it goes. So for my first ever YouTube video, I wanted to actually share a bit of my background story of how I became a calligrapher, how I quit my job, and how right now I'm a business coach for calligraphers. So the most common question I actually get from people who just meet me is, how did you get into calligraphy and how did you turn this into your full-time job? So 2 years ago in 2018, I was just randomly browsing Pinterest and I fell into a Pinterest hole. You know how when you click into one thing and then there's all the related things? So I clicked into, I don't know how I found calligraphy. Found it, I clicked into the related images and I just kept going and I was like, wow, this calligraphy stuff is so beautiful. And I was like, this is so cool, I want to try it out. So I went to my local art supply store and I bought a brush pen, and then that's how I kind of just started doing calligraphy. So I started with brush pen and then I started seeing all these pictures of pointed pen on Instagram and on Pinterest, and I was like, oh my gosh, this pointed pen is so cool. It's fancy, it looks just super badass. And so I went out and bought a pointed pen kit. So that's how I got into it. So when I got into calligraphy, at the time, I knew that I didn't only want this to be a hobby. I knew I wanted it to be a business because I had been, for the longest time, thinking about, ooh, I want to start a side business. It's something I've just been always interested in. And so I tried some other things before. I tried to open a baking cake shop. I tried to do resume editing, but those things just never really stayed and it kind of didn't work. Maybe it was because I didn't have motivation, but this time it was different. So at the time that I discovered calligraphy, my mom actually was having some mental health problems. And so I thought that, hey, my mom really likes to paint. Oh, I'm just getting into this new calligraphy thing. I wonder if we can do something together and, make her feel a little bit more involved and give her a little bit more motivation to do things. So I started learning calligraphy and I said, hey mom, do you want to sell greeting cards together? So that was my original business idea in August of 2019, which is 2 years ago. And so I did learn calligraphy. I self-taught. I'm a super DIY girl, so I just used a lot of YouTube. I used Instagram, and I'm left-handed, so there weren't a lot of resources for lefties at the time. And I just it took me a really long time, but I finally figured out how to use the pointed pen and not have so many ink problems. So I learned calligraphy, and then 2 months later, I did actually come up with some designs with my mom, and we did sell cards. At the time, I was still working in my 9-to-5 job. So at the time, I was working on my greeting card side business with my mom after work, working on designs. I found a local print shop in Vancouver where I live, and I got them to print on the heaviest cardstock. I researched where to look for envelopes, and that's kind of how I started in my whole business journey as a calligrapher. So in November and December of 2018, I ended up selling about $500 worth of greeting cards, which made me so happy because I had never made $500 from not a job before. So I was super ecstatic and I'm so thankful. A lot of my friends bought cards from me, but I also did reach out to some strangers to try to pitch them these cards because I didn't want to just rely on my friends, right? So I reached out to some strangers, and this is something I can cover in another video on how to pitch your business or your services and your products to strangers. So during that time, I actually remember it was such a interesting time because it was, first of all, it was very busy because I had my 9-to-5 job, and then I would go home and then I would be like messaging with my friends. People wanted to order. I didn't really have a super good like ordering process. It was kind of all over the place. So I just kind of took orders from everywhere. I would go meet up with my friends in downtown Vancouver to give them the cards and to collect payment. Some people wanted to e-transfer me. Some people wanted to pay credit card. So I kind of had to figure out, I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest, but I just went with it and I said, hey, if people want these cards, you know, I can give it to them. And there were a lot of things I really didn't know how to do. So all in all, it was a really interesting experience. It was definitely a really busy time. And I remember just feeling, I definitely did feel stressed a lot of the times. And I actually wanted to make $1,000. That was my goal. So I had this super, super old laptop that I used since my first year of university, and it was super slow. And I wanted to make $1,000 so I could buy a new laptop. So in the end, I didn't make $1,000, I made $500, but still, it's $500 extra that I didn't have before. So I was pretty happy. So after December, I thought, wow, like I just made $500 selling some greeting cards. Like I actually wonder if I can, you know, maybe do a little bit more with this calligraphy stuff. I think greeting cards was a really great start, but you know, what about teaching workshops? Because I had seen a lot of calligraphers on Instagram teach workshops and I thought it was super badass. Like, you know, you're teaching a freaking class. It's super cool. And I was thinking, wow, it would be super cool if I could do that too. So in January of 2019, I slowly, you know, made some worksheets and this is definitely something I can talk about more in the future with you, how I started doing workshops. But long story short, because I feel like this video is getting a bit long now. Long story short, I hosted one workshop and then one workshop turned into 2 workshops and then that turned into 10 workshops. And then in summer of last year, 2019, I decided to quit my job and go full-time. By the way, like when I went full-time, like I was not making my full-time salary with my calligraphy business. Definitely not. It was about 1/3 of my old salary, but I felt like I had an okay plan to, you know, make back the money, like so I could make the money and be full-time with my calligraphy. And the one thing that I didn't have when I was working in my 9-to-5 job was time. I really wanted to do more with my business, but I just didn't have time. And so I knew that if I quit, I would have way more time to work on my calligraphy business. So I was okay with quitting without like having made a lot of money. I'm really lucky. I live with my parents at home, so I don't really have like a mortgage or big financial obligations. I don't even have my own car. So at the time I thought, you know, I'm okay doing this. I'm okay quitting. And you know what? Let me try this for a year. If it doesn't work, if I can't make back my old salary, then I'll just get a job. No big deal. Like I know I can find a job. So that was kind of how I got to quit my job. And so now it's been a little bit more than a year since I quit my job, and it's definitely been like a roller coaster. I started doing a lot more workshops, and then I started to, you know, tinker with different ideas like custom home paintings. Trust me, I'm not the best painter. Like I don't paint, I don't do art, but I thought, you know what, I can kind of paint. So I tried to sell some custom home paintings. I tried to sell more cards. I did some on-site calligraphies for some businesses and for some brands, which was super fun. And I just kind of tried, you know, a bunch of things in the calligraphy world. It was super fun. I was really happy that I could set my own schedule, but I was also like so stressed all the time, especially like the 2 to 3 to 4 months right after I quit my job. I was so stressed because I thought I could make back my old salary in, you know, 4 months, but I couldn't. Like it was just so hard. And I was working so much that actually my health got really bad. Like I was sleeping less, I was exercising less, and I had like a twitching eye for weeks. I had constant headaches and I had like really bad like I had like sore muscles in my neck and my shoulder, and I went to a registered massage therapist like a lot. So I was super stressed and I burned out, and it was fun to run my own business, but it was definitely a struggle to have work-life balance. Like I was just working at home all day long. Like my default was working at home. So that was actually like the lowest point in my business when my health was super bad. So I realized that, and I was like, okay, Dina, you can't go on like this. You can't just run your business and have bad health. So I slowly started to exercise more and just be more healthy and take small steps to become better. So eventually I did get healthier, and like I'm totally okay now. So I just wanted to remind you that when you're working on your own business, make sure you are taking care of yourself. Your health is the most important thing, because if you're not well, your business is not well, right? So make sure you're taking care of yourself really well. So after that really hard period in my business, things actually started to pick up again. This is kind of just summarizing, but eventually I did make back my old income in December. So it took me like 6 months to finally hit that like full-time level income in my calligraphy business. And I was super happy. And then this year, 2020, things are crazy. The pandemic, and so things went down, and that's when I actually started doing business coaching for calligraphers. I feel like I can go on and on and on about my business journey, but I actually wanted to stop there and give you 2 main takeaways. So the first one is to take care of yourself when you're just starting out in your business. Make sure that you are, doing all the healthy things, sleeping, eating healthy, exercising, and, having a social life. I know it's super hard when you have a full-time job and you want to spend a lot of time on your business, but it is really important to have that balance. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to start small. I think it's great to have like big dreams. You want to make $100,000 in your business. My dream was at first, okay, I want to make $1,000 and buy a laptop, and then I'm going to quit my job and travel the world and have a digital nomad lifestyle. That was my dream. And it was a big dream, but I knew that to get there, I had to do a little every day. I can't just snap my fingers and I'll be working remotely on the beach. Right? It takes time. So if you're just starting out in your business, I want to remind you that if you do a little every day, no matter how small, it could even be, posting on Instagram or researching how do you register your business in the state or the province or wherever you live. It could be that small, but if you do something every day, you can do a lot over time. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this first video. Let me know in the comments what else you want to know. And follow me on Instagram. I am the most active there. If you want more in-depth resources on how to grow a calligraphy business, there's a link in the description where you can get access to 15 free trainings that I've done. So make sure you click that link, and I will see you in the next video.